My husband brought his mistress to our house to hand me a divorce agreement and mocked me, saying every penny I'd spent was just his generosity. He even took the client gifts I bought with my own salary and gave them to her. He indulged 24-year-old Emily calling me auntie, but he didn't realize I had already collected evidence of his fake accounts and affairs. Before the story begins, tell me in the comments where you're watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Samantha rang my doorbell directly. I opened the door. Mrs. Johnson, can we talk? Her voice was soft. I let her in. Charles followed behind, my husband. He couldn't meet my eyes. The three of us sat in the living room. The silence was suffocating. Samantha slid a folder across the table. A divorce agreement. I don't want to be the other woman, she said, looking straight at me. So please, get a divorce. I looked at Charles. He finally raised his head, and there was a strange guilt in his eyes, but it was the kind of guilt that felt like charity. Anna, just sign it, he said. The house stays with you. Consider it my compensation to you. Compensation. The word stung. This is the first time I've ever loved a woman like this. Charles continued, holding Samantha's hand. I've never felt this way before. You understand, right? A victorious smile flickered across Samantha's face. She covered it quickly, but I saw it, the look of contempt, as if I were an old piece of furniture in the way. In their eyes, I was supposed to cry, to scream, to break down, then quietly step aside. Everyone assumed I would. Even I once would have. I picked up the pen. Charles exhaled in relief. Samantha's eyes brightened. I signed the agreement, calmly, stroke by stroke. They froze. Probably didn't expect me to be so decisive. All done, I said, pushing the papers back. You can leave now. Charles opened his mouth, probably to argue, but instead he just picked up the agreement and helped Samantha to her feet. We'll finalize this in a month, he said. They left. The moment the door closed, my phone vibrated. The first message was from Charles. Anna, this is just formality. Move out for a while. Once Samantha's emotions settle, we can remarry. I doctored that agreement. It's legally worthless. Trust me. I stared at the screen. I see. A fake divorce. Trick me into moving out. Then dump me completely. Cold. The second message came from an unknown number. Miss Johnson, I'm Ethan, from Wilson Group. I saw everything just now. If you need help, I'm at your service. To be blunt, let me be your dog. I recognized the name, the heir to Wilson Group, Charles's fiercest business rival. I deleted Charles's message. Then I replied to Ethan, okay. They hadn't gone far. I heard Samantha crying outside. The act had begun. Charles, am I being too cruel? I don't want to hurt Mrs. Johnson, don't cry. It's not your fault. Charles's voice was so gentle it hurt. She's immature. We're the real love here. She should understand. Understand? I stood behind the door, my hand on the handle. Do you think she'll try to hurt herself? Samantha whispered. Last time she let her. Charles's voice turned cold, always threatening me with self-harm. I won't give in this time. So in his mind, my pain was just a threat, just immaturity. The voices outside faded, but they didn't know this door wasn't soundproof. I heard every word. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I went back to the living room and made myself a cup of coffee. My hands shook a little, but the hot coffee woke me up. Then I grabbed my phone, opened my contacts. All the mutual friends with Charles, those who always told me to just tolerate it during fights. Those who said behind my back that I wasn't good enough for him. One by one, I blocked them, deleted them all. Then I opened my computer, logged into my bank accounts, organized my finances. Luckily, I'd always kept good records. My salary account, my investments, everything was separate. Finally, I opened a hidden folder. Inside were years of screenshots, chats where Charles asked me to help falsify accounts, evidence of his company's tax issues, and flirty messages with other women. Samantha wasn't the first, just the first bold enough to come to the door. I backed it all up to the cloud. Then I shut the laptop, walked to the window, downstairs. Charles was holding Samantha as she got into the car. He opened the door gently, hand shielding her head, a gesture he never made for me. The divorce agreement was signed, but I hadn't moved out. Charles openly showered Samantha with money. Roses shipped daily to her office, piling up on her desk. Jewelry from auctions, immediately worn. Limited edition bags, if she glanced at one. It was hers the next day. Their social media was full of photos together. Caption, found true love. Life is worth it. Mutual friends liked every post. No one asked about me. Samantha always coyly said, Charles, I don't want your money. Yet she accepted every penny without guilt. And me? Charles ordered me, stay low until the divorce is finalized. Don't make Samantha uncomfortable. Stay low? Be invisible. Be a servant. At the company's anniversary gala, I had to attend, as Mrs. Johnson, to keep the image stable. But on stage, Charles had his arm around Samantha's waist. Guests whispered. Someone asked, Anna, who's that? Charles answered first, oh, she's my personal assistant. Samantha. Anna hasn't been feeling well. Lucky we have Samantha's help. Personal assistant. I became a patient in need of help. Samantha came over, holding a glass. Sweetly, Auntie, do you want some water? The room went quiet. A few women covered their mouths. Stifling laughs. Auntie, 32 years old, called Auntie by a 24-year-old. Charles frowned but didn't correct her. Whispered to me, just endure it. For me. Endure it. Endure? I picked up my glass and smiled at Emily. Thanks, but I don't need it. After all, the assistant might not realize I'm the hostess tonight. Emily's face froze. Charles glared at me immediately. I said nothing more and turned to leave. That night, back home, I opened a new document, and I started recording. On such and such a date, Charles used company funds to buy Emily a handbag, $50,000. On another date, Charles asked me to falsify accounting records to cover up discrepancies. On another date, Emily provoked me at work, calling me an old lady. On another date, Charles referred to me publicly as a housekeeper. I had saved up and bought a limited edition handbag. Not for myself. For an important client's birthday. This client only accepted this brand, and this style required pre-ordering months in advance. I waited in line for 3 months. On pickup day, I ran into Emily at the boutique. She was pointing at the same bag in the display. I want that one, she told the sales associate. The associate smiled politely. Sorry, ma'am. This style is pre-order only and isn't in stock. Emily immediately called Charles. I stood quietly nearby, waiting for my bag to be brought out. The associate saw me, eyes lighting up. Mrs. Johnson, your bag is here, I'll get it for you right away. She ran to the back. Emily turned, saw me, and her expression changed. Charles arrived soon after, probably came straight from work. His tie slightly crooked. What's wrong, babe? He asked Emily first. I want that bag. Emily pointed at the display. Charles glanced at the price, frowned slightly, then said, buy it. At that moment, the associate returned with my bag. The box was exquisite, the ribbon tied perfectly. Mrs. Johnson, please check it. I opened it. Black leather, gold hardware, beautiful. Emily's eyes were glued to it. Charles noticed, too. He looked at the bag in my hands and suddenly asked, why did you buy this? For a client, I said calmly. Which client? He pressed. Why didn't I know? Mr. Lee, I replied. You said last time you wanted to open that line. Birthday gift. He remembered. But then he looked at Emily's longing gaze, and then at me. Give this one to Emily first, he said. Figure out the client gift later. I froze. This is mine, I said slowly, deliberately, bought with my own salary. Your salary? Charles laughed, a cold, bitter laugh. Anna, think carefully. Where do you think your salary comes from? Isn't it the position I gave you? The opportunities one gave you? In truth, every penny you spend is mine. I gripped the box tightly. The associate stood awkwardly nearby. Emily reached for it. Thanks, Anna. I didn't let go. Charles snatched it from me and handed it to Emily. Take it. If you like it, it's yours. Emily hugged the bag. Victorious. Charles held her as they left, glancing back at me. Go home early. Don't embarrass yourself here. They were gone. The associate looked at me sympathetically. Mrs. Johnson, I can get you another one if you want. No, I said. I left the boutique. went straight to the restroom, and locked the door. The woman in the mirror was pale, but her eyes were bright. Charles's words echoed in my head. Every penny you spend is mine. So in his mind, 10 years of my work, my effort, my value, were all just his charity. All his. Good. Perfect. I grabbed my phone and sent Ethan a message. I need to see you. Now. 5 minutes later, he replied, give me the address. The second phase of the counterattack had begun. Meanwhile, Emily, holding my bag, began to suspect, why had the associate called me Mrs. Johnson? She noticed. She wasn't dumb. She heard it, and started digging. Easy to check, internal company system, employee info, spouse field, Anna, legal documents, marriage certificate copy. She was the third party. When Emily stormed into Charles's office, I was organizing my handover. He'd finally agreed to let me leave. You lied to me, Emily screamed, throwing the marriage certificate copy onto the desk. She's your wife. I've been the mistress. Charles panicked. Babe, let me explain. I don't want to hear it, Emily cried, tears streaming. I said I wouldn't be the other woman. Now the whole company is laughing at me. She sobbed, but her eyes watched Charles's reaction. He immediately hugged her. I love you. She's just, for formality. It will be over soon. Then get a divorce now, Emily said. Today. Charles hesitated. He'd tampered with the agreement to stall me, but seeing Emily's face, he nodded. Fine. Today. They came to me. Emily's eyes were red, but full of resentment toward me, like I'd made her the mistress. Anna, she said, I'm sorry. I didn't know you weren't divorced yet, but I can't be the other woman. Please let us be together. Such a familiar line. But this time, she held up her phone, secretly recording. Charles stood next to her, holding her hand. Anna, we'll handle it today. Don't stall. I looked at them. Then I said, the clerk's office is closed for today. Tomorrow. You're stalling again, Emily shrieked. I smiled. Why rush? You're already the mistress. One more day won't kill you. Emily went pale. Charles got angry. Anna, how dare you talk like that? Am I wrong? I packed my things. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Clerk's office. Bring all documents. I walked to the door. Emily whispered behind me. The one who isn't loved is the real mistress. I stopped and turned to look at her. She held her head high, like a fighting rooster. I said nothing. I just pulled up my phone and blocked both her and Charles. Then I left. The moment the door clicked shut, I heard Emily's crying and Charles's soothing voice, but it was no longer my concern. My phone buzzed. Ethan's message, do you need me to go with you tomorrow? Yes, I replied. Okay, I'll wait outside the clerk's office. The next day, I arrived on time. Charles and Emily were already there. Emily clutched Charles's arm tightly, as if marking her territory. Charles saw me alone and exhaled. He probably feared I might cause a scene. The paperwork went quickly. Red book exchanged for green. The moment I held the divorce certificate, Emily immediately snatched it to look, and then smiled, truly smiled. Charles looked at me, his tone condescending. If you ever run into trouble, you can still come to me. I ignored him. Stepping out into the sunlight, a black sedan waited at the curb. The window rolled down. Ethan's face appeared. Get in, he said. I got in. In the rearview mirror, Charles and Emily stood frozen on the steps. They hadn't expected someone to pick me up. That evening, Charles posted on social media a photo with the divorce certificate, captioned, finally free, found true love. At Emily, mutual friends erupted. Likes. Congratulations. Comments about me. Congrats to MS Johnson for escaping misery. That old hag deserved to go. MS Johnson deserves better. I heard she went to buy a bag yesterday. Such vanity. Worthless. Now that she's divorced, she's nothing. Bet she'll come crawling back tomorrow. Each comment felt like a knife, but my fingers stayed steady as I scrolled. Ethan sat across from me, slicing his steak. Don't pay attention to them. I am, I said. Remember every face. He looked up at me, impressed. Want me to handle it? No, I said. I'll do it myself. The next day, I appeared again at the clerk's office, this time officially to pick up the divorce certificate. Charles and Emily were there, probably expecting to witness my humiliation. But I was composed, a sharp suit, flawless makeup, more put together than on my wedding day. Ethan was at my side, naturally opening doors, carrying my bag, as if he had done this 100 times. Charles's expression darkened. The procedure was quick. The seal stamped, 2 green certificates. Mine. His. The clerk handed mine to me. I took it and put it in my bag. I never once looked at Charles. Emily loudly exclaimed, "Charles, let's celebrate tonight. I booked the restaurant." Charles glared at me. "Anna, you." I turned and walked away. Ethan casually draped an arm over my shoulder and guided me out. Behind us, Charles's voice rang out, "She'll be back. She can't live without me." I didn't look back. 3 days after the divorce, Charles tried to corner me, outside my new apartment building, holding a velvet box. "Anna." He blocked my path. "This is for you." I looked at him. "It's the necklace I wanted to give you for our 5th anniversary," he said. "I forgot back then. Now I'm making up for it." I opened the box. A diamond necklace, sparkling brilliantly. "I don't want it," I said. "Take it." He shoved it into my hands. "Consider it a memento." A memento of what? His affair? His humiliation? I glanced at the necklace and let it fall. It hit the cement with a small bounce. Charles's face darkened immediately. "What do you mean?" "Literal meaning," I said. "You hate me that much?" He sneered. "Because of Emily? I'm telling you, she's just a fling. I love you. Divorce is temporary. Once you calm down, we'll remarry." I understood. In his mind, Emily was a toy. I was his possession. Divorce was just a tool. He never understood respect. "I will not remarry," I said. "You will," Charles said confidently. "Who else would want you? You think Ethan really cares about you? He's just using you to get at me." At that moment, a car pulled up beside us. Ethan got out and walked to my side. He glanced at the necklace on the ground, then at Charles. "Ms. Johnson." Dropping gifts on the ground? His tone was calm. "Looks like Johnson Enterprises isn't doing so well, can't even hold on to a gift." Charles's face turned red. "Mr. Wilson, this is between me and my ex-wife." "Ex-wife," Ethan emphasized. "Legally, you have nothing to do with her. She's now my fiancé." "Fiancé?" I looked at Ethan. He smiled at me slightly. Charles's eyes widened. "You're lying." "Just proposed," Ethan said, holding my hand, revealing the diamond ring on my finger, 3 times larger than Charles's necklace. "She said yes. The ring was just given to me in the car. I didn't refuse." Charles stared at it, face twisted. "Anna, already moving on? Have you no shame?" I looked at him. "Finally speaking, we're divorced. Who I'm with is none of your business." "You." Charles raised his hand, as if to strike me. Ethan stepped forward, catching his wrist. "Ms. Johnson, before you make a move, think about who approved your company's loans." Charles froze. Ethan let go and opened the car door for me. "Get in." I stepped in. As the car drove away, I saw Charles standing there, kicking the necklace on the ground like a mad clown. 1 week later, I returned to the mansion to collect my remaining belongings. The keys weren't returned. Charles hadn't called, probably assumed I'd come back eventually. I entered the code. The door opened. Music and laughter filled the house. I stepped inside. In the living room, Charles and friends were drinking. Emily sat on his lap, feeding him fruit. They froze when they saw me. "Whoa, the ex-wife's back?" A man whistled. Charles set down his glass, sneering. "Here for your stuff? Hurry up. Don't be in the way." I said nothing, heading straight upstairs. My belongings had already been packed in the hallway. Apparently, they couldn't wait for me to move out. I grabbed a suitcase and carried it downstairs. As I reached the living room, I heard Charles talking. "You really think Ethan would marry her? He's just playing around. A divorced woman like her thinks she can marry into the Wilson family?" "Exactly," one of his friends chimed in. "The Wilsons aren't just anyone." Emily laughed softly. "Charles, don't say that about Anna. She may be old and useless, but at least she's obedient." The room erupted in laughter. Charles took a sip of his drink. "Without me, she's nothing. I paid for her college. I gave her that job. With her brain, what can she really do?" She'll come back begging sooner or later. Then we'll see how proud she still is. I stood at the foot of the stairs, the suitcase heavy in my hands. Every word slammed into my chest. So in his mind, my education was his charity. My competence was his gift. Everything I was existed by his grace, which meant I deserved to be stepped on. Footsteps sounded behind me. Ethan came upstairs. He took the suitcase from my hands and looked toward the living room. "Done talking?" he asked. The room fell silent. Charles stood up, his face dark. "Mr. Wilson, this is my house. My ex-wife's house," Ethan corrected calmly. "And it won't be yours much longer either. You got the bank notice, didn't you?" Loan called in early. Charles went pale. The bank I invested in," Ethan said with a smile. "Now, apologize to Anna." "I'm not apologizing," Charles shouted. His friends started quietly edging toward the door. Emily tugged on his arm. "Charles, forget it, forget it." Charles shook her off and pointed at me. "Anna, don't think you've climbed some social ladder. Women like you, I've seen plenty. Ethan will get bored of you sooner or later." Ethan was about to speak. I pressed my hand against his arm. Then I walked up to Charles. He stared me down, still provoking. "What? You want to hit me? Go ahead. I dare you." Smack. I slapped him with all my strength. The sound was sharp. Everyone froze. Charles covered his face, stunned. "First slap," I said calmly, "for humiliating my dignity." Smack. A second slap. Backhanded. Across the other cheek. Second slap, for denying 10 years of my life. I lowered my hand. My palm burned. "Charles," I said, looking straight into his eyes, "we're even now. From today on, I don't hate you. I don't love you. You mean nothing to me." I turned and walked back to Ethan. "Let's go," I said. He picked up the suitcase and followed me. As we reached the door, Charles's voice cracked behind us. "Anna, you'll regret this. You'll regret it." I didn't look back. Ethan took me to Europe. Not on vacation, on business. But he slowed everything down. In every city. He cleared 2 full days just for me. In Paris, he took me to an art exhibition. I stood in front of a Monet, lost in thought. "You like it?" he asked. Charles used to say art like this was pointless. I said, "A waste of time." Then he was stupid. Ethan said quietly, "Art isn't meant to be understood. It's meant to be felt." In Venice, we rode a gondola. The gondolier sang Italian love songs. Ethan held my hand. "Does it still hurt?" he asked. "What?" "Those 2 slaps," he said. "Does your hand hurt?" I laughed. "It does. But it felt amazing." "Next time you hit someone," he said, "let me do it. Don't dirty your hands." At the foot of the Swiss Alps, he proposed. Not on one knee, just looking straight into my eyes. "Anna, I know you've just come out of a terrible marriage. I'm not in a rush. But I want you to know I'm serious about spending my life with you. You can take your time. A year, 2 years, 10 years. I'll wait." I looked into his eyes. There was no charity, no calculation, only sincerity. "No need to wait," I said. "I'm willing." He smiled and slid the ring onto my finger. In that moment, I felt alive again. When we returned home, reporters were waiting at the airport. Someone had leaked photos of us together. The headline read, "Wilson Group airs new romance exposed. Partner is Johnson Group's ex-wife." Ethan shielded me from the cameras. "Mr. Wilson, are you serious about Anna?" "Mr. Johnson says you're just playing around. Care to respond?" Ethan stopped and faced the cameras. "Anna is my fiancée," he said calmly but firmly. "We'll be getting married next month. As for Mr. Johnson, any man who relied on his wife to falsify accounts just to avoid bankruptcy has no right to comment on my marriage." The reporters exploded. That night, Charles called me nonstop. I blocked him. He used other people's phones. Eventually, I answered. "Anna, this is all an act, right?" He screamed. "You're just trying to make me jealous. I was wrong. I regret it. Come back, we'll remarry." I dumped Emily. "I only ever loved you." "Too late," I said. "It's not too late. I'll give you anything. Half the company shares, no. All of them. I don't need them," I said. "And don't contact me again. I'm married." I hung up and blocked him completely. The next day, Ethan and I registered our marriage. Newlyweds. New identity. New life. Mr. Johnson Sr.'s 70th birthday was held at the family hotel. That same night, the Wilson family hosted a welcome banquet next door, celebrating Ethan officially taking over the group. The two events collided. I didn't want to go, Ethan said. You need to. They need to see who you are now. So I went. Custom couture Ethan had ordered. My engagement ring on my hand. The moment I walked into the ballroom, I saw Charles. He was toasting guests. When he saw me, he froze, then smiled. A smug smile. He probably thought I'd come to reconcile. He walked over, glass in hand. Anna, you finally came to your senses? He said quietly. My grandfather's here, don't cause a scene. After the banquet, we'll talk about remarrying. I said nothing. He took it as agreement and smiled wider. That's more like it. Someone like Ethan, how could he be serious about you, Charles? I interrupted. Let me introduce you. This is my husband, Ethan. Right on cue. Ethan stepped up and wrapped an arm around my waist. Mr. Johnson, good to see you again. Charles's smile froze. He looked at me, at Ethan, at the rings on our hands. You really got married? His voice trembled. Registered last week, Ethan said pleasantly. Haven't held the ceremony yet. We'll send you an invitation. Charles's face drained of all color. Just then, Mr. Johnson Sr. walked over. He frowned when he saw me. Anna, what are you doing here? My ex-mother-in-law followed. Her voice shrill. Well, if it isn't the daughter-in-law who got kicked out. Couldn't make it on your own. Ha, back to beg? The room went silent. All eyes turned to us. Ethan released my hand and stepped forward. Mrs. Johnson, please watch your words. Anna is now my wife. The lady of the Wilson family. Insulting her is insulting the Wilsons. The ex-mother-in-law froze, then noticed Ethan. W. Wilson. Mr. Wilson? Yes, Ethan said coolly. By the way, I heard the Johnsons were looking to cooperate on the East Side project. Funny enough, the Wilsons are the largest investors in that project. Her face fell. Mr. Johnson Sr. caught on, shot Charles a glare, and forced a smile at me. Anna, don't mind what your mother-in-law said. She spoke without thinking. We're family after all, not family anymore. I said calmly. I'm no longer part of the Johnsons. But you and Charles, I'm married. I raised my hand, the ring sparkling, to Ethan Wilson. Gasps filled the room. Charles suddenly lunged, trying to grab my hand. Anna, you can't do this to me. Security immediately stepped in. Ethan put his arm around me and raised his glass to the room. Since we're at Mr. Johnson Sr.'s birthday banquet, I'll make an announcement. Anna and I are getting married next month. Everyone's welcome to celebrate with us. Applause rang out. Not for the Johnsons, for the Wilsons. Charles was dragged away, still shouting my name. The ex-mother-in-law wanted to follow but dared not provoke Ethan. Frozen in place, I looked at her and felt a pang of pity. The woman who once trampled me now couldn't even speak. Halfway through the banquet, Emily stormed in, wearing a cheap dress, hair messy, clutching a paper. Charles, I'm pregnant, she screamed. Silence fell again. Charles, just released from security, turned green. You're lying. It's true. Emily slammed the report onto the table. Look, 8 weeks. It's yours. Mr. Johnson Sr. stood up, looking from the report to Emily. I'm Charles's girlfriend, Emily cried. He said he'd marry me, but now he doesn't want me. Because of this woman. She pointed at me. All eyes snapped to me. Ethan gripped my hand. I calmly watched the scene unfold. Charles rushed forward, snatched the report, and tore it to pieces. Shut up. This kid might not even be mine. It's yours. Emily grabbed his arm. That night you were drunk. You told me you loved me the most. That was drunken nonsense. Charles shook her off. Who knows how many others you've slept with? Emily froze, tears streaming. Charles, how can you say that to me? You said I was the one you loved. Love you. Charles sneered. If you weren't young and pretty, would I even look at you? A woman with no background, no skills, worthy of the Johnsons? The exact same words he once said to me, now delivered to Emily. Her face went pale. She looked at Charles as if seeing a stranger. The rose-colored filter of love shattered completely. "So, you've been lying to me all along," she whispered. "Lying to you? So what?" Charles snapped. "Get out of here. Don't embarrass me." Emily didn't move. She suddenly turned to me, eyes full of venom. "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, Charles wouldn't treat me like this." I smiled. "Emily, when you steal someone else's husband, you should expect a day like today," I said. "The one who isn't loved is the real mistress, remember that?" Emily froze. "Now," I said softly, "you are the one who isn't loved." She collapsed, crying uncontrollably on the floor. Mr. Johnson Sr.'s face turned to iron. "Get this woman out. She's embarrassing everyone." Security moved in. As Emily was dragged away, she screamed, "Charles, you'll regret this. This child is yours. I'll raise it. You'll never have peace for the rest of your life." Her voice faded. The banquet hall fell completely silent. The Johnsons' dignity was destroyed, and I watched quietly, like I was watching a play that had nothing to do with me. A month later, Emily gave birth to a son. The day the paternity results came back, Charles stormed into the Wilson Group building. He burst into my office, fell to his knees in front of all the employees. "Anna, I was wrong," he cried, tears streaming down his face. "The child isn't mine. It's Emily's and someone else's. I was deceived. Now I know, you were the only one who truly cared for me." I sat behind my desk, watching. The once high and mighty man now knelt like a dog. "So?" I asked. "Let's remarry." He grabbed my pant leg. "I swear, I'll only love you this lifetime. Everything from the Johnsons, yours. Just come back." "And the child?" I asked. "The child, we can raise him together if you want," he said desperately. "As long as he's fed. You're still the Johnson matriarch. Nothing can take that from you." I laughed, tears threatening to spill. "Charles, listen carefully," I said, each word deliberate. "First, we are divorced. Second, I am married and happy. Third," I leaned down, looked him in the eye. "You expect me to raise your child with another woman? You think I'm a garbage dump?" His face went pale. "Anna, don't be like this. I know you still love me." "I don't love you," I said firmly. "From the day you made Emily call me aunt, I stopped loving you. From the day you said every penny I spend is yours, I started hating you. From the day you humiliated me in public, you have been dead to me." He let go and slumped to the floor. Then he looked up, his eyes full of hatred. "Anna, don't give face to a nobody. You think Ethan really loves you? He's just using you to get back at me. When I'm useless, he'll dump you too. So what?" I said. "At least now, he gives me respect, dignity, love. And you? 10 years of humiliation." Get out." I pressed the intercom. "Security, please remove Mr. Johnson." Security entered. Charles stood, pointing at me. "Anna, you'll regret this. The Wilsons won't want a divorced woman. You'll be abandoned. Don't come crawling back." At that moment, Ethan walked in. He glanced at Charles, then came to my side, draping his arm over my shoulder. "Ms. Johnson, one thing I forgot to mention," Ethan said calmly. "All your company's debts? The Wilsons have bought them. I am now your biggest creditor." Charles's eyes went wide. "Also," Ethan continued, "the East Side project? The Johnsons are out. Because of your personal credibility issues, every potential partner refused to work with you. You ruined me." Charles howled. "You ruined yourself," Ethan said calmly. "Security, escort him out. He's no longer allowed in any Wilson building." Security grabbed Charles. He struggled and cursed all the way out, yelling at me and Ethan. The noise faded. The world was quiet. Ethan turned to me. "You okay?" "I'm fine," I said. It feels dirty." He pulled me into his arms. "It won't ever feel like that again," he whispered. I leaned against him and closed my eyes. It was finally, completely over. But Emily couldn't accept it. She posted a long tirade online, accusing me of stealing her boyfriend, forcing her abortion, destroying her family. She painted herself as the innocent victim and me as the evil ex-wife. She even posted her medical records, a postpartum depression diagnosis. The internet went wild. Trending number 1, #Anna Wilson forced mistress abortion. My social media accounts were bombarded. DMs full of abuse, old hag. Go die. Can't control your man. Blame the mistress? Climbing the social ladder? Does Mr. Wilson know how evil you are? Ethan wanted to shut down the trending topic immediately. I stopped him. Wait a day. I said. Wait for what? Wait for her to reach her climax. The next day, Emily went live, crying, complaining about how pitiful she was, how innocent the baby was, and how wicked I was. Over 1 million viewers tuned in. The comments tore me apart. When the live stream reached its peak, I created a new account and posted my first message. No text. Only 3 videos, Emily showing up at my door, saying, I don't want to be the other woman, so you should divorce. At the store, Charles snatching my bag and giving it to Emily, saying, every penny you spend is mine. At the banquet, Emily shouting she was pregnant, and Charles publicly denying it, calling her promiscuous. Each video had timestamps and locations, crystal clear, plus a photo, paternity test, father listed, not Charles Johnson. Caption, the baby's father has been found, Emily's trainer. At Coach Wang, congrats on fatherhood. The internet exploded. The trending topics flipped instantly. #Emily self-directed drama. #Anna Wilson exposes cheating mistress. #bag snatching video. People dug into Emily's past. Turns out she wasn't some innocent college girl. She dropped out of community college, worked as a bar hustler, and scammed multiple men. Her parents' educated elite image collapsed, father a high school janitor, mother a grocery cashier. The internet mocked, such a cultured family. Emily's accounts were suspended. She called me, voice hoarse, Anna, are you trying to kill me? You started it. I said, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Delete the videos. I beg you. Too late. I hung up. Blocked. On the baby's 1-month birthday, the Johnsons demanded a judicial paternity test. Result, not Charles's child. Mr. Johnson Sr. passed out on the spot and was taken to the hospital. The Johnson family issued a statement. They had no relation to Emily or her child and would pursue legal action for fraud. Emily's parents came to the Wilson building, kneeling and holding signs, please, Ms. Anna, have mercy. I didn't see them. Ethan had them escorted away. Later, Emily ran off with her trainer, taking the last of the Johnsons' money. Charles went completely bankrupt. His company liquidated. His mansion sold. His cars repossessed. He ended up homeless and drinking. One day, drunk, he confronted Emily's parents for money, got into a fight, and seriously injured her father. CCTV caught everything. Police arrived. Criminal detention. Convicted of aggravated assault, 3 years. I saw his mugshot on the news. Prison uniform. Gray hair. Blank eyes. The once confident Mr. Johnson, now a convict. My wedding with Ethan went ahead as planned. Grand. Lavish. Citywide attention. I walked down the aisle in a white gown. Ethan waited at the end, eyes full of light. As we exchanged rings, he whispered, "Thank you for marrying me." I said, "Thank you for restoring my faith in love." Thunderous applause. No Johnsons attended, or were even invited. But the business community was there. Their gaze on me had shifted, from pity or disdain to respect. At the reception, Ethan announced, starting today, the Wilson Group is launching a women's entrepreneurship fund, fully managed by my wife Anna. First round investment, $100 million. Gasps. He took my hand and addressed everyone. I want to show the world, Anna's value doesn't need anyone to define. I know her capabilities better than anyone. This fund is only the beginning. I looked at him, eyes wet, not because of the money, because of the trust, the support, the love, complete and unconditional. 3 months later, my first project under the fund was a huge success. At the celebration, a reporter asked, Anna, looking back, do you thank your failed marriage? I thought for a moment. No, I only thank myself for not giving up in the darkest moments. And your ex-husband? No comment. I smiled. He's history. My future is in the light. Flashes of cameras. The next day, my face was on the cover of a financial magazine. Headline, From Abandoned Wife to Queen, Anna's Rise to Power. I looked at the magazine and smiled. Ethan hugged me from behind. My queen, what's today's command? Take me shopping, I said. With my own money, to buy the bag I want. Consider it done. We stepped out. The sun was bright. The streets were clean. On my hand, a wedding ring and confidence. Looking back, no hate, no regret, only calm. A new life had already begun. The old ones, left forever in the past.